Hello, friends, new and old. Welcome once again to the Eglowitz Variety Show. I'm taking you on a bit of a walk back to my bed with me, which is going to be our location of filming today. And while I'm on the way there, I'm just going to grab a couple of things that are instrumental for the video. I'm going to set them on the side of my bed over here. Actually, I'm going to set them on my bed for easier access. I'm going to get into bed myself and set up the camera, and we're gonna get started with this haul video today. Something I've never really done on the channel before. You can see in the background I have my tower of PlayStations behind me. PlayStation 4 on the bottom shelf, 3 on the middle shelf, 2 on the higher middle shelf, and on the top shelf I've got some controllers and things like that for the PlayStation. So what I got planned for you today here on the Eglowitz Variety Show is a haul video, something that I've never done in the history of this channel before. There's some kinds of videos that I've made in the past and deleted them or made them private so they're no longer available, and I have a couple years worth of videos that I've made on here now that are still up. And in the whole history of my YouTube channel, I've never done an unboxing before, or not an unboxing, but a haul rather, because that's what we're doing today. I got one for you today though. I went to the flea market, having a particular beverage that I'd rather drink off camera, so I don't know what YouTube's rules for things are per se. But I went to the flea market, which is a place I haven't been in quite some time. And I certainly have never been to one of this magnitude before. I went with a buddy of mine, and I got a really good amount of stuff, and a nice wide array of stuff too. Just that was something I found really cool about the environment of a flea market, especially one this big. There were probably a half a mile's worth of people with tables set up and stuff, and then there were two giant storage buildings with each storage unit kind of being someone setting up shop in there. It was just really, it was massive in scale. And the cool thing about that to me was just the complete array of things that were there. If you know me, if you know the channel, I like to collect toys and things like that, action figures and whatnot. And so I expected, to kind of not really be captured by much else beside that, but there was just such an array of stuff there. It was wonderful. And I'm very, very happy with my haul. So I decided why not kind of get on camera and show it off a little bit, show off some of the things that I got that day. It was a while ago. It was a couple days ago at this point, but I've been quite busy since then, and even before then too. It was a nice little break from a busyness of life, was going to this flea market. So I haven't had time since then to kind of sit and just really take in what I got. Obviously, I know what I got because I was there, but I haven't had time to really sit with it and properly take it out of the bag and look at it, you know what I mean? So that's the plan for the video today. I have a feeling it might go a while. I have a feeling we might be here together a while. So one thing I'm going to do before we get the video started, actually, is I'm going to order a little bit of food on Grubhub. Grubhub is my personal middleman food delivery service of choice. It's just a bit of a familiarity thing, I think, for no reason other than I've had an account there for quite some time, and nothing completely horrible has ever happened to make me not want to use them. I don't know how they compare to other services in terms of fees and things like that and how much they charge, but it's just what I've been using for a while. It looks like there's a local place that's open for, oh man, this place closes in 18 minutes. So I'm going to send them a delivery order, and I'm going to be that guy that places a delivery order 18 minutes before the place closes. But you know what? This is a place that I really like. Their food, it's very familiar and comfortable to me, much like Grubhub itself. And that's what I'm in the mood for tonight. Other than my haul is familiar and comfortable. It's been a long week, been quite busy, and I want to kind of just sit down with a plate of food that I like and enjoy it. So I'm going to take a minute here. I'm going to try to be brief because I want to get to the main meat and potatoes, no pun aside, of the video here. And yes, I said no pun aside because no pun is to be set aside. I'm looking here. I'm thinking maybe a wrap. I tend to get wraps. There we go, wraps. I've gotten wraps from here. They're pretty good. They're a little expensive, but it is what it is. I think we'll go classic grilled chicken wrap. Nice and easy. Comes with some avocado in it. I don't need to get a drink. I have water. I'm trying to drink water lately. Taking a look here. So I think if maybe I'll just get that. Maybe I'll get something. No, I don't need anything sweet. I have some yogurts I could eat. If I could just order this, actually, I'll probably just do that. Save me some money, which I could definitely use. And yeah, I think this fits their minimum, so I'll do that. I think they have my PayPal on here. I think it's that easy. Bit of a wonderful thing that you could just summon food to be sent to you. I'm going to make sure that I turn my notification sounds up, just to be sure that I hear any updates that come in regarding the food. I'll keep you updated as well. I'm sure you're interested in that. It's been a long week. Okay, so let's get started here without further ado. I'm going to... That's a confirmation text message. I'm going to start with the biggest item in the bag here. Physically the biggest, at least. This is a 2-pack of toys from the 2000 X-Men movie, which was the first X-Men live-action movie that came out. I think even period, the first X-Men movie that came out. At least theatrically. I think there was a couple of weird things in the 90s, or I might be thinking of Fantastic Four, but to my knowledge, this is the first theatrically released live-action X-Men movie. And this is part of the toy line from the movie, and this is a 2-pack of the character of Toad. Both of the toys in the 2-pack are of the character of Toad. One of them is his comic book appearance, as you can see here. It's got a nice big piece of art there, and the other is his film appearance. And it looks like here, this is a limited edition 1 of 15,000 set, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure this is really worth too much. I paid $20 for it. I'm not sure it's really worth much of anything. But I just think it's really, really cool to have. I was a big fan of the X-Men movies growing up. The character Toad, I always thought was a really cool character in the movies, and then, learning a little bit more about him in the comics and from video games and different things like that, I just think he's a really cool and interesting character. I think he's got a unique power set. I love frogs also, so I think I like the idea of kind of a frog-based supervillain. It's got a big description here. If you want to read it, you go ahead and pause it. I'm probably not going to read it. Or you know what? Excuse me. I'm going to indulge myself a little bit. I know it's rather long, but I'm going to read it, because the whole point of this is to fully enjoy my new stuff, and I think part of fully enjoying something is kind of really getting into the nitty-gritty, such as reading. Character of Toad has been a popular Marvel Comics supervillain for over 35 years. The grotesque mutant member of Magneto's Brotherhood of Evil Mutants debuted in Uncanny X-Men #4 and has been a thorn in the mutant super team side ever since. The deformed mutant with the incomparable leaping ability struck a chord with comic fans and has never stopped causing trouble for our heroes. Over the years, this quiet, unconfident, loyal follower of Magneto has grown into a powerful, cunning, and resourceful leader in his own right. In 2000, the Toad and other X-Men heroes and villains will finally make the jump to the big screen. Finally, so it is the first X-Men film. Finally make the jump to the big screen in a star-studded feature-length blockbuster from 20th Century Fox Films. Actor Ray Park takes on the role of Toad and will use his acting skill, martial arts expertise, and amazing acrobatic abilities to bring the high-jumping, amphibian-like mutant to life on the silver screen. This movie takes a dark, gritty, and realistic approach to the superhero genre, and the film centers around the X-Men's fight to protect the world from Magneto and his superpowered followers. Steering away from the court jester type of costume, Toad of the motion picture gears up in edgy street fatigues. Even his powers are given a boost with the addition of a long, retractable tongue and acidic slime. This twin pack spotlights both the classic look, comic book costume, and the movie look of Toad. And on the back there, you can see they have a movie over here. Probably one of the teaser posters from the movie, alongside a comic book, to kind of highlight the differences between these two figures, being that one comes from the movies and one comes from the comic books. I think this is a really cool thing to have. I got it for $20, like I said, and I am normally strictly an out-of-box collector. I think there's very few toys and action figures and collectible things that I've gotten that I've kept in the box, and I'm not pretentious about it. I know there's a lot of people that are, toys are meant to be played with, and what do you keep them in the box for? That's a waste. And I don't particularly agree. I think that any way someone chooses to enjoy action figures and toys is beautiful, you know, and is wonderful and valid. But I say all that to say, I think this is going to be one of the rare pieces that I do make the decision. I just realized something. I'm going to finish my thought and then show you what I realized. This might be one of the rare pieces that I keep in the box just because of how cool it looks, and even doubly so having learned what I just learned. So I was playing around with the box and I realized that part of the logo there is standing up on the X in the middle. You see it right there on part of this round logo. And so I tugged at it a little bit out of curiosity, and it turns out that it opens. I didn't even realize this before. This is part of the joy of kind of sitting down with some new stuff that you get, and you know, you learn stuff about it. It opens up. You know, I hate that you're getting all the Snapchat noises right now. A bit of a group chat I'm in that's popping off at the moment, and I would turn off the notification sounds, but I don't want to miss anything about the food that we just ordered. So yeah, check this out. It opens up, and you can see both the comic version of Toad on this side of the screen. I'm not going to say left or right because I don't know what side it's going to wind up being for you, but on one side you have the comic book Toad, and on the other side there's the movie version of Toad, and that is very, very cool, and it's got 2 more descriptions on the inside. The comic book one says, Mortimer Toynbee, the grotesque mutant known as Toad, is one of the X-Men's most fearsome foes. The villain's superhuman leaping ability and bizarre crouching stance give him both the appearance and powers of his namesake. The amphibian-like warrior is a fierce hand-to-hand combatant and uses his superhumanly strong legs to execute amazing kicks, jumps, and attacks. He first encountered the X-Men as a subservient member of Magneto's Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and would follow any order given to him by the Master of Magnetism. Over time, the insecure follower has developed a strong sense of confidence and no longer takes commands. He now leads his own team of evil mutants and continues to be a thorn in the side of the mutant superheroes. That's the description for Comic Toad. Here we have the movie side. The grotesque mutant known only as Toad is the most loyal member of Magneto's Brotherhood. His green skin, protruding tongue, and superhuman leaping ability give him both. This is the exact same thing as the other side. I think the only difference is the ending sentence, which is unique to the specific version, but the general introduction is the same. The amphibian-like warrior is a fierce hand-to-hand combatant and can execute kicks and attacks that no martial arts master could ever hope to emulate. He can even shoot acidic slime from his mouth to suffocate or burn his enemies in order to turn the tide of battle in his favor. That's very cool. I'm very happy I realized this opens up. I'm even more likely to keep it in the box now, maybe display it like this. You know, this is very cool. I am curious to kind of see the action figures inside, you know, to kind of... I wouldn't even maybe call these action figures. These are kind of more like dolls. You know, I don't say that in a derogatory way. It's just the style of the toy is more the style of a doll than it is an action figure. I'm very curious to see what the articulation is like, you know, to see what's plastic and what's cloth. To see if there's any bendy wire in there, to see what kind of toys these are. But I'm not going to open it right now. I'm going to kind of sit on that decision for a bit, because I really might want to just keep this thing in the box. I could always look up a video, you know, or an article if I'm curious to see what the action figures are like. But this just looks so cool in the package, and not even for the sake of it being potentially worth something, which I know is something that's important to a lot of collectors, but this is kind of just, I just love the way this looks. So that's item number 1 in the haul today. I'm going to move on to something slightly in a different genre. And when I say genre, I mean category of item. I'll show this off next. I got a hat. This is a blue hat, as you can see. It's got a silver mask design on the front and the back of the mask design on the back. It is, the mask is a reference. It is the mask of Blue Demon. It's a luchador. A very, you know, iconic Mexican professional wrestler. Very iconic figure in Lucha Libre. And this hat, I saw it and I just thought it was so cool. And I didn't even really try it on before I bought it, which I might have wanted to, because I do think that it looks a little silly on me. It's one of the hats that has a Velcro backstrap. And I do think it looks a little bit silly on me. It looks very, very, you know, fatherly. It looks very like a hat like a dad would wear or your uncle would wear at a barbecue. You know what I mean? I think it's because it's got these two big bubbles over here. I think if it was a little more form-fitting, it might be something I would enjoy wearing more. I found if I kind of raise it up on my head a little bit, it's a little bit better, but it's still just got a quality I don't like to it up here as far as how much air there is, you know, between my head and the hat itself. But even beside that, you know, even not for wearing purposes, it's just a cool hat. It's an awesome thing to have. I've never seen a Blue Demon, you know, hat like this before. So it was something that I wanted to jump on. Something I purchased, and I'm happy that I did. And even if I don't wind up using it for the purposes that you know, might typically wear a hat for, i.e. wearing it, I think it's an awesome thing to kind of, you know, hang on a shelf, you know, hang on the corner of a stand or something like that. Just a really cool piece to have around. I got my hair a little messed up there from taking the hat on and off, or it might have been messed up before, but either way, we got a hat that I think is really, really cool. I'm very happy with that purchase. I'm going to take out a couple items here that I got from a toy salesperson at the flea market. As excuse me, as you most likely know at this point, I'm a big fan of action figures and toys and stuff like that. The Toad was from a different seller, but I have these two items here that were, now it's a bunch of videos coming in. I got these two items from a toy seller. I'll go through them one by one. This is a Marvel Legends action figure. This is West Coast Avengers Vision, the white version of Vision. And here's the back of the box. It says on it in English, it says it in multiple languages. In English, it says, "Behold the Vision, stripped of his memories and rebuilt in spectral white. Will the Vision prove friend or foe to his fellow Avengers?" So I imagine the idea behind this is, you know, there's a kind of a spike in popularity of the character of Vision in general, and specifically White Vision due to his appearance in WandaVision early last year. So I went ahead and picked this up. This is a very new figure that I was kind of surprised to find at a flea market, but like I said, this was a seller that specialized in toys and action figures and stuff. So he orders new stuff, and this was something that he had. I'm going to put the, I really don't like editing my videos all that much, but I'll go back in and I'll edit this, and I'm going to put the Instagram handle of the salesperson here if you want to go support them and see if they have anything, you know, that you're looking for, because I had a really good experience with them. So I will put their Instagram, I will go back and edit this, and I will put their Instagram right here, or maybe I'll mess it up and it'll go somewhere else. But it'll be somewhere. If it's not there, check the description. But yeah, here's West Coast Avengers Vision, and I'm excited to have this. I don't have a White Vision figure in my collection right now. I have two Visions, regular Visions. Actually, no, I have a couple of Visions. I do have a White Vision, but it is the movie version of White Vision, and by movie I mean television series. It's the WandaVision version of White Vision, and I have the regular version of movie Vision. I have the classic retro carded version of the comic book Vision, and then I have the all new, all different Avengers 3-pack version of Vision. But I don't have a comic book White Vision action figure. I do now. So that's very cool. I was happy to find that. I was happy to find something new, you know, something I was looking for my kind of base action figure collection. This was just a little knickknack that I found. I picked up. It's a Pee Wee Herman, Pee Wee's Playhouse action figure. This is Pee Wee. There's the packaging for you. And this is, to give you a comparison, action figures now are normally packed in a bubble, like a plastic bubble. And then even once you get that plastic bubble off, the figure itself is still in a second set of plastic. And that second set of plastic kind of holds the figure in place. So if you shake it around, it doesn't really move too much. But meanwhile, this Pee Wee, it doesn't have the bubble, rather the inside molded plastic part. It just has the bubble to kind of keep him from falling out, but it doesn't have anything to hold him in place, really. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just an interesting, excuse me, interesting thing to note. This is obviously an older action figure. You know, this is obviously something that was probably made close to the height of the popularity of Pee Wee Herman and Pee Wee's Playhouse. There was a couple of figures from this particular line there, but this was the, you know, Pee Wee himself was the only one I wanted enough to purchase. And if you look at the back here, there's something really interesting going on. So there are, these are the other figures that are available in this wave, the other pieces. And as you can see here, there's a big cutout piece over here. There's a big piece of cardboard on the back of the card that you cut off. And if you collect all the action figures, you can put all these together and you get the set of Pee-wee's Playhouse, which I think is just a marvelous idea, especially for its time. Now that's something that is very common to see. You know, you have to buy all the figures of a particular series, and each figure comes with its own piece, and you put all the pieces together and you get a thing, a build, you know, something to build. Sometimes it's an additional figure, usually a bigger figure. Sometimes it's a display piece, it's a diorama, it could be any number of things. But it's now no new concept where you buy all the figures in the series and then you could put something together with something they all come with. I don't know, I'm not a historian or an action figure historian, but I don't know how popular that was at the time. And this is probably one of the earliest examples I've ever seen of this idea of a build a thing, collect them all, build a thing type of thing. It might be earlier. I'm not saying it's the first by any means, but this is definitely, you know, in my experience, one of the earlier examples of something like that I've seen. That was really cool. And even other than that, you know, even other than that part of it, it's just cool to have. I liked Pee Wee Herman. I was a big fan of Pee Wee Herman as a kid. I had a couple of VHS tapes of Pee Wee Herman that I really enjoyed watching. So there's that. We're going to delve a little bit deeper into the bag here and see what else we have here. We have this. What this bag contains is it's actually just some dirty shirts that were in my work locker. So we're not going to be unboxing those. But actually, if anything, I'm going to throw the bag right inside of the hamper. When I do laundry, I'll take the clothes out of the bag. Let's delve a little deeper in here. Staying in the toy category, this is the last thing that I guess you would call a toy, really. But I have a Soundwave, what is it called? A figural bag clip. That's what it says on the bottom here. It's a Soundwave figural bag clip. I paid $4 for it. And there it is. I'm honestly planning on using it as a keychain, and I think it's a little big to be a keychain, but that's good for me because losing my keys is something that I have a big issue with. So having something, you know, cool attached to it, something like Soundwave, and also something this size attached to it, I think will, you know, do me a little better as far as trying to keep a handle on them. I'm not sure when this is from. It says 2021, Hasbro on the back, Hasbro copyright 2021. That doesn't necessarily mean that's when it was released. I think that's just when the copyright is good through. But yeah, so there's Soundwave. I figure I'll use them as a keychain. Don't look, YouTube. What else we got in here? Okay, this item I'm going to set aside because it has to do with another item that I'm going to show you in a little bit. I'm going to get this bag out, and I believe this is the last bag of things. So we're nearing the end here. This isn't nearly as long as I thought it was going to be, but who knows? Maybe by the time I get through all the rest of this stuff, maybe it is about as long as I think it is. And there's actually a couple other things that I have in the living room, or the living room area of the big giant room that I live in. But there's some stuff over there. Not a ton more, but there are a couple more things. So I'm taking some stuff out of some protective styrofoam here. I'm getting some things on my phone here, but it looks like they're all just Snapchats and emails and that group chat that I mentioned before, and nothing concerning the food yet, which is what I'm really on the lookout for. So I'll show you this next. This is something I thought was really cool. This is an ashtray, actually. If you look here, from this angle, you could see where the the thing goes that you smoke. Excuse me. It's an ashtray. It lights up as well. I think this is absolutely just gorgeous. I got this handmade from a seller who I am going to, once again, I'm either going to post the seller, I'm going to put the seller's name right here on the screen. I'm going to go back in the video and edit the video and put the seller's name right here on Instagram. Or if it's not there, it's going to be in the description. But either way, this seller and the other seller that I got the toys from, definitely check them out because this is very cool. This is something I might use this as a nightlight, you know what I mean? I will use it as an ashtray, but I'm going to use it as any number of other things. A nightlight, just something to have on so it's not dark. If I ever want to do like an ASMR video or like a scary story video or something, I could turn all the lights off and I could put it like this and it'll be real dramatic. But yeah, just an awesome, awesome ashtray. Super cool, handmade. Nice details in there. There's stars and stuff. You know, it's just absolutely gorgeous. The detail in the hands is wonderful. I wouldn't even know how to go about making something like this. If you told me, hey Sam, make an ashtray, you know, make it realistic human hands with stars and glitter inside of them, and also it lights up. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even know where to begin. So having something like this is very cool. I'm going to, again, you know, check out the seller. Very, very cool stuff. They had a wide variety of ashtrays and different things like that. So there's some overlap between the last item that I showed you, the ashtray, this item, and the item after it. And there's a middle of the Venn diagram. The middle of the Venn diagram, oh my goodness, enough, enough. The middle of the Venn diagram is a frog ashtray. Again, this one I'm probably not going to use as an ashtray. This one I'm more likely maybe to try to hang on my wall somehow, maybe with some non-stick, or no, not non-stick, some extra stick putty, you know, some of that putty that you use to hang stuff on the wall. Maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll just have to scotch tape it or something, but this is something I would want to keep on the wall and not use as an ashtray, even though I think it's supposed to be one. Yeah, it's definitely supposed to be one. But yeah, this is just an awesome piece. I love frogs. I think frogs are great. I think they're the funniest animal around. I think they're cute and quirky and just a nice animal. So I really like frog stuff. And you're never going to believe it, but I got another frog thing too. This is a frog, and he's holding a tambourine, standing on a colorful rock. It's hand painted, handmade. It looks like, and it's just a very cool piece. I'm not sure, you know, the origin of it or where it comes from, or you know, if there's any cultural significance to it or anything like that. But I just think it's a beautiful looking piece. I think he's going to look great on the shelf. And what's cool about these two pieces is that I found them at part of the flea market. It was in one of the one of the storage facilities, and it was a couple storage units all next to each other, and they were all just, you know, there was stuff everywhere. There was you know, one pile, there was a giant pile of skateboards in the corner, very unorganized. You know, you would think you just kind of wandered into someone's garage. But, you know, if you look a little closer, you could really find some cool stuff in there. And these are two of the things I found. They had a whole shelf labeled frogs, I kid you not. There was a section of the shelf portioned off for frogs. There was a section portioned off for owls, for Egypt, for Buddhism, for cows. There was just whatever obscure thing you could think of. Not that any of those things are obscure necessarily, but it's just not often you see, you know, a whole shelf section dedicated to frogs. You know what I mean? So it was pretty cool. They had a whole bunch of frog stuff, and I really, you know, I was torn on what to get. And I didn't want to get too much, but I got these two pieces here, and I'm quite happy with them. So yeah, I got that. Oh, I think this might be the food here. Hello? Okay, I'm coming. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to leave the camera running because I've said before, I try not to make cuts or anything in my videos, but I will be right back. I will have some food when I get back. I will leave you with the sight of my window. I'll be right back for you. I'm coming back. I'm on my way. I'm getting closer. I'm scooching next to my bed. I'm putting my leg on my bed, and we are back in frame. So, I have the food. I'm not going to speed through the rest of this video by any means, but we're kind of almost done with things anyway, so I'm just going to wrap things up. I'm a little out of breath from going up and down the stairs. I'm going to wrap things up at this point. I have, I think, one thing and two little things over there. So I'm considering it. This is four separate things technically, but I'm considering it as one thing. I have a couple of pro wrestling DVDs here, and I'm gonna give them off to you one by one. I have Night of Infamy 2016, a CZW pay-per-view, or a CZW event. So I got that. I have IWA Mid-South presents a Rotten Farewell. I believe Ian Rotten's retirement night, or, I think supposed retirement night. I don't think it's stuck. But I got that. I have ROH Ring of Honor This Means War from 2005. And last but not least, I got the Best of the X Division, TNA Wrestling. This is volume 1 of the Best of the X Division series. I'm super into professional wrestling. I've been dipping my toes actually into the world of pro wrestling lately. I've color commentated a couple of wrestling shows, and I've done some wrestling interviews and stuff. So it's a world I'm definitely interested in kind of peeking my head into and learning more about, from an inside perspective. And part of that has been doing a little bit of homework, getting familiar with wrestling I maybe didn't see growing up because it wasn't on TV every Monday, or wrestling that, escaped me, or just, generally things that are important for wrestling fans and people in wrestling, if I am to be one, and if I am one, to know about, just important history to be caught up on. So I'm trying to, curate a little collection of professional wrestling DVDs such as these, of events that I maybe haven't seen. I was with a buddy of mine who is supremely knowledgeable about wrestling. He's been in the business for a long time, and he's very knowledgeable. He's a perfect guy to be with for stuff like this. So he helped me pick out a couple of tapes here, and there's some matches on here, given my knowledge, that look really exciting. Got Austin Aries versus AJ Styles on this ROH DVD. Claudio Castagnoli and Alex Shelley on this ROH DVD. Bryan Danielson and Roderick Strong on that DVD. On this X Division one, Petey Williams, AJ Styles, Chris Sabin in a triple threat. Chris Sabin and Samoa Joe. Petey Williams, AJ Styles. Just looks like some cool stuff on here as well. TNA was always a company I wish I was more into in its heyday. I was mildly into it as a child, but it just didn't capture me in the same way that, Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown did. But looking back at it now, it looks like there was so much cool stuff in that period, and I wish I could have experienced it firsthand. CZW tape, Joe Gacy and Sami Callihan looks like a fun match. Homicide, Johnny Yuma looks like a fun match. There's the Weapons of Mass Destruction match that looks like the main event. I don't even know what that means, but I want to see it. And CZW, I've never ventured too much into deathmatch wrestling, or garbage wrestling as some people call it, but just the ultra-violent brand of wrestling I've never really taken a dive into that much. And my buddy recommended this one. Looks like it's got some cool stuff on here, so I'll check that out for sure. Some wrestling DVDs I'm happy to have in the collection. Actually, I'll probably, when I get to eating after I finish this video, I probably will pop one of those in. I'm going to get up now because there's 2 items that are on the other side of my room. And those 2 items are also items that I got at the flea market, so I want to show them off to you briefly. Okay, here we go. So the first of the items is going to be a Tails plushie, a little Tails, and he's got a little thing you could hook him on things. So I think, I could hook him on a backpack, or I could hook him on any number of things, on a light switch if I so desire. But he's just a silly little guy. I do wish his tails were a little bigger and, more fluffy and prominent, but it is what it is. He was pretty cheap. I think he's cute. I always liked Tails. Playing Sonic Adventure as a kid and Sonic Heroes as a kid, I always kind of related to him. He looked like me. I just like Tails quite a bit. So here he is. I had to get him. He was a cheap price. The movie just came out. I thought he was very charming and nice in the movie. It's Tails season, as they say. So I got this Tails to commemorate. So there he is. Not much more to say on that. And last but not least, I guess a bit of an anticlimactic note to end on. I think I maybe might have wanted to end on the frog stuff. Maybe would have been a good place to end. Or maybe the hat would have been a good place to end rather than this. Not that I'm unhappy with this item at all, because I think it's a great item and I'm very happy with the purchase, but it just doesn't feel like a climactic final thing to show you, But regardless, here they are. They're earrings. They are earrings. They look identical to each other. Some red and black little stones in there. Some squares in the center with smaller squares and lines inside of them. Some nice patterns on the top and bottoms of the earrings. I've been trying to up my earring game a little bit. I've been around a lot of people who have very cool and interesting earrings, so I wanted to, I've been wanting to jump into that lately. You know, I have my donuts in right now. These are lime green donuts. I'm not sure how clear you could see them. But here's the earrings. Not much more to say on it than that, you know. I think we're about ready to wrap things up here on the Eglowitz Variety Show. Like I said, I don't want to rush out of here or anything, but I do want to get to my food. I don't think I could say much more. We're 35 minutes in already. I think we've done enough for today, so I'm going to pick you up. I'm going to carry you over to the piano. And if you've checked out the last couple videos on the Eglowitz Variety Show, you will know that we don't really have a structured outro song in the same way we have an intro song with lyrics and, you know, consistent lyrics at that. So every time we do this outro song, we just kind of make something up. So that's exactly what we're going to wind up doing now. And so we're just going to figure it out as we go. Because that's exactly what the Eglowitz Variety Show is about. So welcome to, nope, this has been the Eglowitz Variety Show. Don't ask what it's about, cause I still don't. That's not how I play it. Hold on, we're starting over. Which is okay to do. This has been the Eglowitz Variety Show. Don't ask what it's about, cause I still don't know. Now I'm going to eat my wrap from my Grubhub order. And also watch some wrestling DVDs. I didn't say the thing. Thank you, friends, new and old, for being here. This has been the Eglowitz Variety Show. We will catch you whenever we catch you. Whenever I feel like making another video is when we will catch you. Ciao for now.